Well, happy day to you all. How are you? It is Thursday, and I'm just kind of doing a lot of reflecting, okay? And I don't know if that's the after effects of the Mercury retrograde. What do we got here? Well, these three flew out for some reason, so I'll have to look at those, but not right now. I mean, today is my great-grandmother's birthday. She was born in 1901. So if she were still alive, she would be a very, very old woman. I'm trying to keep my hands busy, I guess. I'm just, in my mind, my thoughts. And I thought, well, I'm just going to turn this into like a little documentary or something. Processing a lot of feelings and thoughts that I held for someone for a very long time. And in telling my story yesterday to a friend of mine, Jesus Christ, another 3. Okay, flip your ass over. I was reflecting on that. Imagine that. I must be definitely in my Aquarius rising energy because that's the overthinking and outside the box and whatever. But anywho, when I listen to myself tell my story to her, being an empath, I could really feel what she was thinking, if that makes sense. And she was definitely shocked because of the things I shared with her. And I have to take ownership. You know, I was a part of that problem. There's no denying that. I perpetuated it because I was living in my little fantasy land. Oh, look at that. The death card flew out. Fucking A. Okay. I know. I have a pile here. I'm talking to one of my guides. They're laughing at me. I know I have a bunch of cards out here that I haven't even looked at. I'm just letting them pop out, and I'll just put it all together when I'm done for a reading, and we'll call that the reading for today of whatever the fuck it is. I don't know. But anyway, like I was saying, oh yeah, you flew out too. Oh, isn't that the sun? That's a good card. Okay. That's also the Aquarius card. Interesting that it flew out when I was talking, huh? But yeah. So I just been really reflecting on a lot of those things that I said and taking me back to that time and remembering the feelings I had during different situations. I've never shared the dark side of that with anyone other than, yeah, technically I was having an affair with him. And I knew that I shouldn't do that. But when you feel that pull, it's like, oh my God. Oh yeah, we got a few more here. Oh yeah, that was you already. Okay, interesting. And when you have it in your head, because you know who this person is, and you know that he's very important in your life, and yeah, he was, because he taught me a lot of shit that I don't ever want to have to go through again, and I won't allow it to happen again. Gotta put that down. Okay. It's the classic duo, the empath and the narcissist. Me, of course, the empath, and then some, him, the narcissist. And I started to think about that, and he made me feel a lot of times that I had been choosing to look at everything through rose-colored glasses when no, not at all. Yeah. So I've got me some learning in my life, and I want to write a book. And what's this one? Oh, the Empress. Oh, that's a good sign for me. My nose is itching now too. Okay, definitely my throat chakra kicked in. But anyway, yes. I'm going to take my story, I'm going to write a book. And I'm going to take this even a little further with that, because I'm Wolf Clan. We pave the way for others to follow. Okay? And I've gone through all this shit and felt all the pain. So, listen to my story and look at yours and see if there's any similarities, and then make your decision after that, I guess you could say. Think of it like the life coaching book of what not to do or how to navigate. Christ, okay, I got a couple more here. And there. Okay, I'm going to stop with that because I have got to look at these cards. I'm just going to, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to start taking them in the order that they were dropping, and I kind of have it down, I think. This is the last pile. That's all I need to know. This is the last pile. This was the beginning. Okay. I think I need to get a little chime in. I don't know, there's just something about, like this bell. That one gives me a different kind of feeling. That one there, though, that has to be a root chakra. Well, it is red. It just makes me feel really stable and like I got my shit together. I'm firm, all that kind of stuff. But anyway, I digress. Let's go on. Let's look at these cards together, and I'm gonna just start telling what I'm feeling off of them or whatnot. And it could be just for entertainment purposes, or you could take this as a learning tool, whatever. Take it how you will, but I'm just going to thank you in advance for going through all of that with me and for supporting me here on this channel. I do appreciate that so much. So, like, here's the first clump that came out. We have the Ten of Pentacles. Well, that's always a good thing. I just put my little drum. That's a good thing. That's like total abundance right there. I mean, all the things. That's like, you got that castle, you got that money, you are, yeah, it's the good stuff. That's like the level you want to have it at, okay? And then we also had in there the Five of Pentacles, and that indicates that there were some hard times. Yeah, that's for damn sure. Damn sure. And then the Three of Pentacles. I call that the manifester one because, when you have a three together, that's creation, and, how I see it. Three of Pentacles is like networking, business stuff. Now, since I was talking about Mike with this, I can elaborate on some of these right now. Like with the Ten of Pentacles, I will say this much. Because we were, I don't even know if you would say are, but we were a twin flame relationship. And, you know, we were able to have union. Yeah, we had sex. And I gotta tell you, when we were hot, I was rolling in the money. It was like total manifestation. It was like pure magic. When I was in massage school, he was my body that I would practice on at home behind his girlfriend's back that I lived in their house, but we told her I was just a straight up lesbian, so she wouldn't think anything was going on. Yeah, naughty me, right? It is what it is. Don't judge. You don't know what it's like unless you're in that kind of situation and that desire and unhealthy lust. We'll say it that way, okay? So, okay, but that happened there. And then, you know, I went through my hard times with money and with my own, you know, staying there. It got really rocky and that was hard. But again, and then we got the Three of Pentacles, and that's, you know, he was starting to connect me with people, and I was starting to branch out. So I'm going to take it that way. That was that part of our relationship. Moving on. I think this is the next one. Yeah, that looks right. That looks right, doesn't it? Okay. Maybe not. Okay, it is. All right, so then, yes, here we go. And we have the High Priestess here. Coincidentally, not coincidentally, that is what I am. I really honed in on my magic, my manifesting skills, all that kind of stuff when I was living at his house. And I'd be a liar if I didn't admit that I was doing witchery to make sure I had a secure spot in that home. Just saying. Just saying. Okay, now, whether I did dark magic or not, I still used magic. I did a lot of manifesting. He had a pool. You bet your ass I was out there every day. And I was doing shit. Okay? I was doing magic in front of him, and he didn't even know what I was doing. So he just thought, oh, it's just one of those Indian things from her tribe. Yeah, okay. So that went on, and a lot of great stuff did happen. I mean, I was able to manifest. When I had to eventually move out, I had to get out, and that would be this part right here, I think. Yeah. I did have to move out because it just got so toxic and horrible. But we never stopped talking to each other, and he still would take me shopping or whatever. So, you know, I mean, when you know that it's really bad, but they're doing all these nice things or whatever, that motherfucker never once told me I love you. He never told anybody I love you. I've witnessed it, even with his family. I mean, when you leave your family, don't you say, okay, bye, I love you, or whatever? No, not them. And I just thought that was weird. But anywho. So, here the Six of Swords. I recall a huge argument that we had, and it was not good. I think I might have cursed him a little bit at that time. There's that High Priestess energy. Doesn't say if it's good or not. But I knew I had to move on, and I was moving my stuff out. I found somewhere else to stay. You know, I had to make a decision. Here's that Two of Wands. It's like, make a fucking decision. You got to get going. So yeah, I moved on. I stayed with a friend for a while. She helped me out tremendously. We were both recovering from a horrible relationship. And we were there for each other. So, you know, that was the good thing with that. Okay, then what came next? This one. Okay. And then, okay, Five of Swords. That's that uncomfortableness. There's that bickering. I still was allowed, well, he let me keep my mail coming to his house, but I think it was more because then he could keep his tabs on me, because he would bring it to me when he was done with his shift or whatever. And I know that was, now that I'm talking about it, I know that had nothing to do with doing that for me. It was more so he could still keep his tabs on me. Narcissist behavior right there. Wow, it took me this long to see that. Hey, it's never too late, right? As long as you learn. It's okay. And then I did find an apartment eventually, and there's the sun. Things got better. I had my own space. I was started to thrive. Here we have the Queen of Swords. Yes, I definitely took back my power and set some boundaries. I definitely did not chintz on my words to him anymore. When we talked, I let him know I'm fucking pissed at you. You hurt me. You screwed me. Whatever. I did all of that, and I even said that to him when I was staying in my own apartment because of the COVID thing, and because he went to the hospital, he had that bitch move back in to take care of the dogs and stuff. Yeah, bullshit. You think I'm a fool? Yeah, there was definite words there. I totally... You know how they say when you piss off a Cancer, they know how to fucking bite away at you and rip you to shreds with every flaw or whatever and make it hurt, intensified. Yeah, I did that to him. And I am going to say I am proud that I did that. I am. Okay, so there's that Queen of Swords, and then, we got the Death card. We're putting all that fucking bullshit to rest now. We have put that relationship away. It's all done and over with. That's that. There's no more. The story of Mike and Cindy is no more. Okay. Moving forward, we have the Empress coming in. That's me, definitely. I am totally embracing this phase of my life. I am embracing that I don't have to fucking do a goddamn thing and that everything is on my terms. I have my own place. I don't have to worry about other people's bullshit. I mean, that is like priceless. And the people who I want to welcome in and allow into my space, they are here for me. Rock on. Okay. And then we have the Chariot. That's my card. That's movement forward. That's like, fuck yeah, man. And coming at you fast. And you know what that means? I'll tell you what it is. We got the Two of Cups next. Yeah, I got a little love connection going on with someone from my past, but he's not a bad past. He's a good guy. We just parted, things happened. We were young, we were dumb, and, just all that stuff. It just wasn't meant to be at that time, but we never, ever fought, and there was never really like, I'm going to stop seeing you anymore. It was just like one of those, it never got closed up. And I always was thinking of him, when I would get into different situations, I'd be like, I wonder what Pac-Man's up to, things like that. And then when I reconnected with him a few years back on Facebook, I mean, he was commenting on things, and I felt all those feelings again, and I thought, oh my gosh. Flash forward a few years, I'm back here in my hometown where I lived when I was kicking it with him for a while. And we reconnected, and there's that Two of Cups. Okay? And we both know that we are hot and heavy for each other. I'm totally ready. I really am. I mean, I'm a little nervous because we are two different people now, but that's the fun. Rediscovering, and I've learned a lot about him in you know what, I think I've been living here for 2 years in this apartment, and I've learned a lot about him, and he is definitely one of the good guys. That's all I can say. And, you know, here we have that Knight of Cups. You know, there's that potential, bringing forward that love offering, bringing that romance back into my life. And it's just like, you're just holding back a little bit. It's not fast. It's just, you know, this whole reconvening is going at a slower pace than I would prefer, but I don't want to rush anything. And I've been telling a couple of my friends, April 11th, that's in 2 days, my friends, that is when Mike transcended on 4/11 at 4:11 a.m. Yeah, isn't that something? I've just been saying, I bet you that's the day that Patrick's going to say, hey, why don't we quit this bullshit and let's just make it official, you know, whatever. You're my woman, I'm your man, that kind of thing. I know it sounds silly when I say it, but you know what I'm trying to get at. So that's what I have been feeling is going to happen, because it makes sense to me. Mike was a Libra, and look at how he fucked me over. Patrick, he's a Libra. He's like, his birthday was 5 days after Mike's. And he's the polar opposite of him. He's conscious of how he makes other people feel. And he doesn't bitch all the time. Mike used to gripe and bitch about stuff that he had no control over. And Patrick doesn't do that. He just is like, he's like, it doesn't pay to bitch about it. He goes, I don't like it, but, you know, but he calls me sometimes and we talk, and I can tell when he's upset. I'm like, what's going on? And I'll just let him vent, and I say, oh, do you feel better now? He goes, yeah. I'm like, good. I said, now go home and take a shower or whatever and go to bed. But I mean, he knows who I am with that. I know he knows that I've got some specialness going on. But anyway, the other one knew it too. He just figured it out too late, and then because he was so bitter and crabby about everything, that's why he got liver cancer. My God, all that anger. And then he was emotionally constipated. His fucking heart chakra was screaming for a release, but it never happened. But I'm not here to teach that anymore, so, you know, I am looking forward to my next phase in my life with a new partner who is healthier, and that we can grow together. That's it. And I know that this was more than you probably bargained on, but I hope that it entertained you and it taught you a little something at the same time. Let's close it out with a little song, shall we? Wasn't that cute? I'm gonna fart around with that some more. I like playing it. It's just kind of a nice distraction, and the little sounds, I just like it a lot. But anyway, thank you so much. This has been a very long recording, and I know it, and I do appreciate that you have hung in and took the time out of your life to listen to all of this, and yeah, it's all good. So, happy birthday, great grandma. Even though you're way the hell up there in heaven and you never visit me. What the hell's up with that? But whatever. I would never talk to her like that in person, that's for sure. Anyway, I will talk to you later.